Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one, we are going to head down to England once again, and we're going to return to a brewery that has featured on the channel a number of times before. These guys are a very highly regarded English craft brewery, and their beers are fairly easy to get a hold of in many different places throughout the world now. They've won a lot of accolades, and they're just very, very well respected, so it's always nice to review new things from these guys, although this is one of their beers that's been out for quite a while that I've just never managed to get a hold of until now. So for this one, we are going to head down to Derbyshire, to a little town called Buxton to the southeast of Manchester, and we're having a look at another beer from Buxton Brewery. So this one is called the Kingslayer. It comes in at 8% ABV, and this one is a double IPA. This is one of the many craft beers that you can now get in Tesco stores throughout Scotland, and I guess in England and things like that as well. But yeah, this can cost me £3.50, and I mean, when you think what it is, you know, an 8% double IPA, that's just mental, to be honest with you. £3.50 for an 8% double IPA is just crazy. So you know, that's about €4, maybe €4.25, something like that. Yeah, about $5 American. What would it be in Swedish kroner? Yeah, maybe about, you know, 45 Swedish kroner, something like that. The price of this beer is just insane for what it is. From what I understand, this recipe is slightly different than the original Kingslayer. This one is a New England IPA from what I gather, but I could have sworn that the original Kingslayer was more of a West Coast type IPA. So do let me know about that in the comments section below. I think it was Adam from Mersey Beers that was telling me this recipe's been changed since 2019. So yeah, but that was when it was launched in Tesco actually, so wouldn't be surprised if it was changed a little bit before it went into there, just to, you know, maybe certain ingredients and things were slightly harder to source or whatever. But yeah, definitely nice to have this one on the channel. I haven't wanted to review it for quite a little while. Hopefully it's another good beer, and I hope that you guys watching enjoy my take on this one as well. But definitely nice to return to Buxton after a little while, and I hope that you guys enjoy this one. So let's see how we get on. As always with my reviews, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery before we taste the beer. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the video description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Buxton Brewery before, and you will no doubt see more added to that list in the near future. I do have one more in the fridge to review from these guys fairly soon, but there's all the usual social media down there. If you want to see more reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, province, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlists of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the English beers that I've reviewed for you. That's being added to quite a lot at the moment because I am at home in the motherland of Scotland, and we're getting a regular supply of English beers over in Sweden now, so that list will be added to regularly as we go forward. But as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Buxton Brewery then, on to my brewery notes. So as I've mentioned to you already, Buxton Brewery is of course located in the town of Buxton in Derbyshire to the southeast of Manchester, and this is a little spa town actually, and if you look at pictures of it, it is very, very pretty. But the brewery began with the first ever brew by Jeff Quinn back in 2009, and Jeff had studied physics and also had a background in engineering before starting up the brewery. But for a period of time the brewery cuckoo brewed, as they called it, basically gypsy brewed if you want to put it in other words, but they brewed a number of other local microbreweries and things like that before getting their own facility up and running in January of 2010. And in the beginning they were brewing very small 800 litre batches, but today the brewery itself can be found on Staden Lane in Buxton. They've got a 7,000 square foot space, and at full capacity these guys can produce around 60,000 litres of beer per month. Their beers are exported worldwide to, I've seen them in Japan, I think you can get them in Australia and things these days as well, and you can get them across the European continent. I'm not sure about North America though, so let me know about that in the comments section below. But the Buxton beers have won many accolades, and the brewery has been consistently ranked in the top 100 breweries in the world by Rate Beer, which is very respected in that regard, of course. But the local area that you'll find these guys in is known as the Peak District. It's famed for its water, which apparently has been revered since Roman times. They actually called the town of Buxton Aqua Arnemitea, if I'm pronouncing that right, probably not, but this translates to the waters of the goddess of spring, and most of their beers that Buxton did for a period of time were named after local geographical and geological features around that area. The tower that you see on a lot of the labels, I don't know if it is on this one, but the old Buxton beers used to have towers on the label, but that actually represented a local tower there that was actually built. It was known as Solomon's Temple actually, or Grinlow Tower in some places, and it was actually a folly tower that was built just for decoration. So yeah, the old Buxton beers, they used to have a tower on the label. I think it was on the right hand side where they said Buxton Brewery, but now they've just gone for this kind of plain text motif, if you like. But yeah, since 2013, these guys have also had their tap house bar in the Oak Courtyard in George Street in Buxton, and as of January 2021, when I'm filming this review for you, they've produced around 175 different types of beer. But yeah, that's all the information I can really give you on Buxton Brewery. I think they've just gradually built up the brewery over time, and it would be quite cool to get down there and have a little look at you know, one of the, you know, do a little out and about video at that tap house bar in Buxton. As I say, a very, very pretty town, and we'll see about doing that at some stage in the future. Maybe it's possible, but to go to Buxton, I think, could be quite a nice little day trip or something like that. That could be interesting to do. But yeah, that's, as I say, all I can really tell you about Buxton Brewery for the moment. If you want to learn more about these guys, you can check out the brewery website. You can follow them on Facebook and Instagram to keep up to date with all the latest goings on, and you can check out the Rate Beer, Untappd and Beer Advocate pages to learn more about all those 175 different kinds of beer that they've done. So yeah, let's get on and actually have a taste of this beer then. Like I said to you, these guys are very, very well respected English craft brewery. But yeah, I do like the artwork on this one. This, of course, is a different artwork that was put on the can. The bottle, I think, had, I'm sure it had like a mountain on it and a little knight or something trying to fight the dragon, if I remember rightly. It was definitely a darker green than this. This is fairly new artwork. But yeah, the artwork is pretty cool, as you're always going to get from Buxton. And it tells you on the back here, we must have bloody noses and cracked crowns. So yeah, interesting. There you can see that on the side here. 44 centilitres, 8% double IPA. There's not much else on the other side here. It just says natural, unfiltered and unpasteurised. So yeah, as I said, £3.50 from my local Tesco's in Alloa. And yeah, that's it. So let's get this guy out and we'll get on with the tasting then. 440ml can. Very, very curious to see what this beer has in store for us. It didn't say on the website or anything what hops and stuff go into this beer. It just said, you know, 8% double IPA. There wasn't really any other specs available on this one. But I know this beer, it has been, Kingslayer has been over to Sweden before. A little quick Google search of it said that it was in Finland at the moment as well, in Alko stores. So, is that all of it? There we go. But yeah, it's apparently in Finland at the moment as of January 2021 in Alko stores. So yeah, this must be one of the ones that they produce on the bigger scale, so it must be going abroad as well as being in local the Tesco stores and things like that as well. So yeah, that's pretty cool. But yeah, as you can see with this one, and as you would expect from a New England IPA, this one has poured, it's actually an almost kind of clearer one. Maybe this isn't going to be a New England IPA. It was listed on Untappd as a New England IPA, but sometimes Untappd can have it wrong. But you can see that when we poured this beer, it poured with about somewhere between a half and a 2/3 finger of a frothy white head. There's one or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, a few little ones going up towards the bottom of that head there. I mean, overall it does look pretty nice, but you can see lovely bright yellow, almost mango juice colour. A few big carbonation bubbles sticking to the side and then floating up towards the bottom of that head. That head, incidentally, has faded away to be a very thin foamy layer, but I would describe it as kind of perfect white, and it is leaving a nice little ring around the kind of top edge of the glass there. But overall, looks like a pretty nice beer, I have to say. But definitely, if it is meant to be a New England IPA, it's certainly not the haziest that you are going to come across, that's for sure, especially for an 8%er. Remember, the colour of your beer is dependent on two things. One, the type of malts that you use, and then two, the length of the boil. The longer you boil the beer, the more the sugars caramelise and the darker the beer gets. But yeah, this one might be just like a pale malt or something based, but it doesn't say, does it say the ingredients on it? It says oats and wheat, so yeah, I guess technically then it must be a New England IPA if it's got that. It's maybe, I think it's usually, it could well be that it's just a bit more barley focused, if you like, rather than being heavy in oats and wheat, because it is the oats and wheat usually that cause most of the haze in these types of beer. But yeah, certainly looks the part of a modern IPA, I guess we could say. Not the haziest you're going to find for a New England double, of course, but it certainly looks quite nice. So let's take a closer look at the aroma of this one then and see how we get on. Curious about this beer. Okay. yeah, so this one, I'm pretty sure this one, it actually has quite a nice soft bready leaning malt base, and I mean, to me that really indicates, yeah, this is a more barley malt focused base actually. So lovely soft white bready notes to it. You do get a little bit of the oaty smoothness in there as well, in fairness. Yeah, definitely getting a wee bit of that oaty quality. But when you take the aroma in more deeply, you do get some of that wheaty bitiness, but it's not too pungent a wheat, if that makes sense. It is quite a soft wheaty character that you're getting out of this. Overall, I would say that the malt base in this one really leans towards that soft white bready note there, but as your nose kind of adjusts to this beer, definitely more oaty qualities coming out of it, more and more oatiness. But yeah, I would say that this is quite a barley malt focused IPA for sure. It's got a nice kind of soft, it's just got a really nice soft white bready quality to it, which I think is very, very nice. It's a little bit of an old school malt base actually. It reminds me of, you know, Amazing Haze and Narangi and stuff like this. It definitely reminds me more of that rather than anything else. But yeah, I think this looks it looks pretty damn nice, and it smells good from the malty side of things. You guys know, if you've watched the channel for any length of time, I do like to give the malt base a little bit more attention. Scottish sweet tooth and all of that. But yeah, on the hoppy side of things then, where the focus should be when it's an IPA, this beer, I think overall I would say this one doesn't have such a punchy aroma, if you like. It's quite it's almost unassuming, quite modest IPA, which I have to admit I didn't expect. I did think this one would be a little bit kind of punchy and things like that, but these days this is a supermarket beer. We do have to remember that, so maybe the original Kingslayer packed a little bit more of a punch actually. But yeah, on the green side of things with the hops, there's a little bit of earthiness in there, but not a lot. Some nice floral aromaticity. It's quite a smooth floral aromaticity that you get out of this one, to be honest with you. And there's a bit of lighter grassiness in there. But yeah, if we take the aroma in deeply, I would say that it's actually quite well balanced between the floral notes and the grassy side of things. It's got a nice balance in the green side of things. But yeah, let's have a little look at the fruity side of it. Quite soft tropical fruits in this one. Mango. Yeah, I think definitely a bit of soft mango in there. You've got a wee bit of an apricot-y kind of thing. It's not got too much in the way of like a pungent passion fruit or anything. You just get a little hint of that. Could there be Citra in this one? I want to say there's a bit of Citra in this. There's just something familiar about it. Maybe Simcoe as well. There's a few things that are familiar about this beer. I want to say there's a wee hint of a kind of orangey citrus to it. Could it be a bit mosaic or something like that? Maybe it's a Citra Simcoe mosaic kind of thing. There's just something very familiar about the hops that are in here. But it does have, you know, when you smell it, it's definitely got a wee bit of a citrusy quality to it, like an orangey note, maybe even a little bit of a lemony quality. And there's just something very, very familiar about the fruits in this. But I think little touch of, you know, stronger, more pungent passion fruit, soft mango, the sort of papaya-y, apricot-y things in there. That makes me think Citra. But you've got a softness in there too, which I think could be Simcoe. I think Citra Simcoe. I think there might be a more orangey leaning hop in here. I'm not 100% sure about saying that there could be a little bit of mosaic in here, but there might well be a little bit of Centennial. Something makes me want to say there's a wee bit of a Centennial in here, because the beer does just have a little bit of a kind of almost lemony, zesty edge to it, a little bit of a lemony, grassy sort of thing. So yeah, I think Citra and Simcoe, and I'm leaning towards being certain, I think, for Centennial, but I'm not 100% sure about Mosaic or Amarillo. Few things that this beer could be, actually, come to think of it. But yeah, really, really nice. Really, really nice smelling beer, this one. Quite unassuming, quite modest, like I say, but take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma before you get stuck in. Let's have a taste of this beer then and see how we go on. I'm curious about this, very, very curious. So this one is the Kingslayer, the post-2019 recipe. I've seen it has been listed as. This one is a double IPA, New England IPA, coming in at 8% ABV from Buxton Brewery in Buxton, Derbyshire, to the southeast of Manchester in England. Let's get stuck in. Slàinte, skål, cheers. Oh yeah, that is pretty nice, I have to say. It's not as, you know, this for me it's quite a different side of Buxton that I've not seen before. Granted, I've not had too many IPAs from these guys. Most of the things I've had have been, you know, big malty beasts, to be quite honest with you. And that's an area where Buxton does shine. I've not had too many lighter beers from these guys. I do remember having one called Trolltunga, which was like a sour IPA, and I think that might have been a collaboration that they did with Dugas, if I remember rightly. But yeah, Buxton, I've not had too many lighter beers from these guys, but this is nice. This is very nicely done. It's definitely a kind of old school straight shooting New England IPA, but I think it gets a thumbs up from me. I like this. I would have been curious to try the original one, right enough, but again, as a sort of flagship IPA, that's really solid actually. Yeah, that is very nicely done. And I mean, the thing with Buxton is they're not going to put a bad beer out there, and I think they've done a solid job with that. You know, it's one of these beers that is by no means one that is going to, you know, blow the head off and you're going to think, oh, this is, you know, mad, this is absolutely amazing. But it's damn solid, and, you know, it's like we would say about the Love and Hate from Vocation. If I'm remembering the name of it right, the beer that I reviewed out the supermarket from Vocation Brewery, that was the same. Definitely not the kind of craziest beer that this brewery are going to do, but a damn solid core beer. Damn solid core beer. So, you know, you have to respect Buxton Brewery for that. This is nice. It gets a thumbs up from me. For £3.50, you can't knock this one at all. Definitely not. But yeah, lovely stuff. Yeah, you could easily drink that. I mean, at 8%, this thing is stupidly drinkable. I'm going to say that as well. So easy to drink. But yeah, let's try and break down the flavour of this one a little bit then, and see how we go. So, straight away across the middle of your palate, you get a nice kind of smooth, pale malty base to this one. You can really feel that. When you go on to the back third of your palate, you get a nice smooth sort of soft white bready kind of thing there. That kind of goes back as well. The bread does get a little touch more grainy on the back third of your palate, and you can feel, you do get a little touch of the wheaty bitiness coming out of this one, but I find the wheat quite, I really do find the wheat quite, you know, fairly smooth in this one. I don't find it overly pungent or anything. It is really just, this strikes me as quite a smooth and soft New England IPA. Yeah, it's definitely not the creamiest New England IPA that you're going to come across. It's really got a nice kind of clean and almost slightly crisp mouthfeel to it, but we'll talk about that later. But the wheat in this one has a nice bit of smoothness to it and just a little touch of bite at the very back of the tongue. But yeah, this one is really nicely done. I like the smoothness of the wheat that it has. When you move into the middle third of your palate, you can feel the thickness of the beer just drop away a little bit. You've got a more kind of crisp white bready thing underneath it, like I said. You can feel the smoothness of the oats just coming out of this one a little bit too, and perhaps there's a teeny little bit of like a slightly Werther's Original type sweetness to this one. Not a lot, but just a little tiny bit there. So it does have a wee bit of that, but this is definitely a very kind of old school sort of New England type IPA. It reminds me, Amazing Haze. It reminds me of the Amazing Haze Narangi sort of thing from Sweden. I like that era. I do like the more kind of classic bready leaning malt bases. So yeah, this is definitely a more barley malt focused New England IPA, but you just get the nice hints that you want of oats and wheat that remind you, yeah, this is a New England IPA. So well done, fair play to Buxton Brewery for this one. I think they've done a really solid job of this. I like it. But yeah, lovely stuff. The malt base is really nicely done on this. I think we've said all we need to about the malty side of the beer, to be honest with you. But onto the hoppy side of things then. In the back corners of the palate, there is a nice little touch of earthiness there. As you move further forward, it's got a little bit of there is a wee bit of herbal quality there. And as you reach the front corners of the palate, it's got a nice little bit of floral aromaticity. But this beer is definitely not a very bitter one overall, I would say. Yeah, not a lot of bitterness in this beer at all in my mind. But yeah, a little bit floral and aromatic on the sides of your tongue there. I wouldn't describe that as being, spicy or anything like that. It's just got a nice little bit of, an almost just a little bit of a lingering aromaticity, which is quite nice. As you go round the front curve of the palate, the beer is distinctly lighter and more grassy, which also works well for it. And yeah, then you've got some nice soft fruity characters on the front third of your palate. So the green component for me, well balanced between the floral notes and the well balanced between the floral side of things and the kind of grassy stuff. But yeah, as I say, for a supermarket beer, this is pretty on point, I would say. Definitely quite an on point beer, absolutely. Yeah, so as I always say, on the front third of your palate, that's where you get that nice oily bubble where those juicy fruity esters just roll their way out of the beer. Nice, you can feel in that border region between middle third and front third of your palate, there's a soft sort of white bready thing there. If you go towards the very back of that front third of your palate, there is a little bit of yeah, there is a little bit of there's a wee tiny touch of a pungenty passion fruit, but not a lot. When you move forward from that, it's a very juicy mango note in there. I'm starting to doubt from the flavour if there's Simcoe in this one. I think this could be maybe Citra. I think there is Citra in this one, just going by what's going on in here. I think there is Citra in this beer for sure. But yeah, it's got a lovely, it's just got a wee tiny bit of passion fruit at the back of the thing. Then as you move forward, it's got passion fruit, it's got a wee bit of a kind of it's got a very soft mango kind of note to it. It's got a little bit of a, you know, that typical apricot-y sort of thing, but then on the front half of that front third of your tongue, for me it does turn to be a little bit more kind of orangey, I think. Yeah, I want to say that there is just a wee bit more of an orangey character to this one. Could it just be a bit of Citron Mosaic or a bit of Citra and an Amarillo perhaps? Because the thing is, this beer, the earthiness that this one has, it doesn't strike me as being Mosaic, to be honest with you, but there is a distinctly orangey kind of character on the front part of that tongue. Could it be a little bit of Mandarina Bavaria perhaps? Because there is something about the grassy and floral side of this beer that's a little bit German. Could it be a bit of Mandarina Bavaria that's in here along with a bit of Citra? Wondering that, really wondering. But yeah, the front half of that front third of your tongue is a little bit distinctly more orangey. Then you've got some nice floral, you know, you've just got a nice little bit of a slightly lemony, zesty sort of thing on the very front tip of your tongue. But I don't find the zestiness of this beer overpowering. This is a very smooth, crisp and very drinkable New England IPA for me. Dangerously drinkable for an 8%er actually. But yeah, it gets a thumbs up from me. I'm quite impressed with this one when it's you know, for a supermarket beer at £3.50. Can't go wrong with that. But yeah, I do quite like this one, I have to say. But I think that sums up the flavour profile of this one. Like I said, definitely not the kind of craziest IPA you're going to find from Buxton. I need to have a look at, I'd love to try one of their kind of newest IPAs that they've done as of, you know, early 2021. I'd love to try, you know, one of their brand new IPAs and see what that's like and compare it to this one. But yeah, this is definitely not the craziest IPA I think you're going to find from Buxton, but it's a really damn solid beer, and at the price, you know, you cannot knock that. It really does have the same level of quality, I think, as you know, Vocation, and it does kind of show you that even though these beers are being produced on the big scale, then these slightly bigger craft breweries are maintaining that level of quality, which is quite nice. So again, hands up, you know, hat off to Buxton for that. They've done a good job here. In terms of the mouthfeel, then, what would we say about this? You know, it's right in the middle of the spectrum for me. A straight up mid-bodied beer. Smooth carbonation. Like I said, this beer for me, because it's a New England IPA and it's quite barley malt focused, it does have a wee touch of slickness to it. There's a little bit of oiliness in there. Definitely not the creamiest within this style bracket that you're going to come across right enough. It's just a really nice, crazily drinkable beer for 8%. That's the one thing, is that it just doesn't have, it covers its booze very well, and that just makes it kind of ridiculously drinkable for the alcohol percentage. But yeah, I like how I do certainly like how this one goes together in that sense. But yeah, this one, very smooth, very easy drinking New England IPA for me. Overall, the mouth feels a little bit oily for this particular style bracket. In terms of bitterness, I don't think there's a lot to this one at all. What, 20, 25 IBUs at most, something like that. It's typical New England IP IBUs, but remember this is the weakest part of my review. When it comes to IBUs, that's the thing I always get wrong. But lovely kind of soft white bready notes in the malt base there. It is a very soft and smooth malt base. Lovely kind of juicy and slightly oily fruity characters to it. But yeah, it's really nicely done. That juicy fruits, a little bit oily as you would kind of want, but just an all-round solid beer, this one, particularly so when you consider the price. This is just, you know, it's crazy to pay like 45 kroner for something like this. For an 8%, I think this is really well done. So yeah, I think we can leave the taste examination of this one there. I enjoyed this. It's a beer I've wanted to try for quite some time. I'm a little bit sad I couldn't try the original recipe, but I think this recipe they've got here is pretty spot on for the purpose that this beer serves now. So yeah, this would be a very good sort of core flagship IPA. So yeah, well done to Buxton Brewery for this. I like this one. You know, if you find yourself in the supermarket and you want a few beers, this and the Love and Hate, 2 cans of each, you're in for a very good night, absolutely. But yeah, let's leave it at that for this one. Very well done. New England double IPA, very barley malt focus for me at 8% ABV from Buxton Brewery in Buxton, Derbyshire, England. Definitely worth checking out. But yeah, let's leave it there. Thank you again for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comments section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Buxton Brewery. I do have a stout to review from these guys that you'll see quite soon. But in the meantime, this was a really nice beer, and I'm glad I was able to review this one for you. The Kingslayer Double IPA, 8% ABV from Buxton Brewery in Buxton, Derbyshire in England. Bought this one for £3.50 in Tesco's, worth every penny. But yeah, thank you, slàinte, skull, cheers, and catch you guys in the next review.